This material is made available to you by or on behalf of the University of Melbourne under Section 113P of the Copyright Act 1968. It may be subject to copyright. For more information, visit the University Copyright website.
Then it would be quite challenging. I remember people who started earlier, like last year, they had it like 1 or 2 days after. They couldn't send them back to them. They could go and pick it up. So you know where workshop is, right? But some people actually waited on, or for some reason they had to send it late, and it took them like 1 or 2 weeks. I know that at the very end you have a deadline for your term paper, you have a deadline for presentation, all sort of things. So be prepared and be proactive. All right. So from now on, go ahead and do all the details. So I'll tell you a little bit about the printing. You question? Right. What do you mean? I don't think this is something that teacher will have one session to discuss. Sure, we will usually have that. I'm just telling you my own experience. That last year, this year I might not be involved from now on. I'm just like a free session and then I'll be done. But you guys talk to Peter, and he will have, I'm sure he will have one session just talking about this tool and how long and having it. But from now on, just make sure you have a partner, make sure that roughly you know what you want to do eventually, for the next few weeks, and then learn all these details, like sending data, for instance, to so all these details, I'm sure people will talk to you. Because I don't know either, right, at this stage. What else? Any other? And talk to your friends who did it last year. You probably have access to some of them, right? Talk to them. And even look at what they have done. Good? So I'll tell you today a little bit about 3D printing and what's going on in this world, because it's very fast paced, right? Changes so fast, you can't really easily keep up. Right? We'll talk about that one. You probably know most of them, or at least have heard what's going on in the world. And I'll show you a few things, like some videos, that different techniques that we use or people use, and some of the modeling part of it. You guys are dealing with SolidWorks these days, right? Mimics as well, so these type of things. So I'm not going through that. I'll be showing you some sort of procedure. This is something that I remember last year we didn't have difficulty, students had difficulty to sort of follow. And always I used to just remind them that this is the procedure. So you just basically, so anyone can tell me, like, imagine you have an idea, right? So like, say you want to print or you want to develop something for, let's say, spine, or let's say for your jaw for some patient, right? So you want to have a product, and that's going to be like a 3D printed, and you know the question, imagine everything is there. Can you just tell me what the procedures you would go through? Like say 1, 2, 3, can anyone just, yep.
A CT scan or like a scan of some sort.
Cool, all right.
The model, and then you use the model to create it. Like you make drawings of the environment and like set it up for manufacturing, and then after you manufacture it, you go through post-processing, and then you
Yeah, that's very good. So basically this is the kind of procedure that you would go through. Let me show you guys something that I talked last year. You probably can find it here. You can find this on YouTube, they put it as well. So they put it here. What is it, like 3D MedLab? I think I talked about something else, but I just, because I had this class last year as well, so I described a little bit about what's going on. And I even showed them some of the, you can actually like find that part. Is it the internet is connected? I think so. It's connected, but I don't know why it's not working. But anyway, you see this the whole idea here, as you described. So these days, if you want to go through like a patient-specific modeling or any time, so you will have some sort of a collaboration between surgeons and engineers, right? As you can see on the left-hand side. And there would be some sort of like medical images. So there's something missing, or there's, like, imagine, not even missing. There would be a tumor, for instance, somewhere, right? This is an example of, yeah, some of your friends did. So, yeah, something like this. You probably can't find it, can't read them, but this is exactly one of the things that one of your friends or colleagues who is here, they did it. So you can read it only from here, cup and paper, am I right? The orientation, this is a title, and then they go introduction, method, and they did pretty much, yeah, they did all these things and printed it at the end. That's basically what you mentioned, right? What was your name, sorry? Tim. So what Tim said exactly, so you see a problem, right? Clinical problem. And based on that problem, let's say we're talking about, like, so imagine someone has got a tumor somewhere, right? So the surgeon is going there to cut that tumor, and there will be a narrow hole, right? Something is empty, like a bone area. And then you do the CT scan of it, so you know where something is missing. Then something like the way that you guys are doing it with the mimics, you develop your product, because you have an idea, you put it there, and you find the material, you find like all these details that you're going to learn this year, like compatibility, all the details that you will learn, and then you make sure that works, and you basically finalize it, and that's not really just one way, as you can see here. So we can look, watch this later, but look, hopefully, yeah, I'm just going to stop here. So look, you have medical image of it, then you would have a patient-specific modeling based on the image processing that you do. So it could be anything, like we're using mimics now, but there are hundreds of them out there. Then comes the surgical plan. So you want to plan for that surgery, or surgeon is going to plan, not an engineer, right? But there would be interesting procedure here. So engineers are involved from now here. Basically, engineers are involved here as well, right? So you don't have like an MRI without an engineer. So surgeons are using them mainly. But let's just talk about now the bigger picture. So the engineer would look into the anatomical model, again from the CT, and then what's happening with the instrument that they're going to use, right? How they're going to do like custom implants, for instance, based on whatever the question is. And at the end of it, they're going to print it, and surgeon will do it. But one of the things is missing here. Can you just tell me what's missing here? There's something missing here. This graph. Can you tell? Everything's perfect, right? Nothing is missing. Anyone can find anything or can come up with anything that's missing? No? What's that? Very good. That's exactly right. So I sort of quickly showed you, but I don't know if you noticed. So here, right? So that is the idea. So the idea is not, you're not going to design it, talk to your surgeon, and then 3D print it and like do the operation. It's not just one way. It's just a kind of loop, right? And you have to make sure that that's correct. You do it and then come back. You do it and then come back. Usually, there's a lot happens in this area, right? You get the image, and then you do a lot of loop here, and then talk to the surgeon again, and then come back. So it's not just once you do it and that's done. And that's exactly what you guys might be doing will be doing this year. So it's not just you come up with an idea, you develop an idea, and then you show it to Peter or someone in your team, in the teaching team, and then they say, yeah, that's right. So I remember students coming to me last year. They came several times. They came with their first drawing. Said, oh, how about this? And then we discussed several times. And then I said, maybe not. It's not really a good idea. And then they will change it, come back again. You know what I mean? So that's the whole point. because that 3D printing is quite simple now, right? It's just like you develop and send it out, and there are some tips and tricks. I'll talk about it a little bit here, and you will learn eventually. Those are the easy parts, right? The actual part is you and your partner and your supervisor sitting down and understanding the concepts, and is this really going to work? Are we missing anything in this? Is it biocompatible? Is it, like all sort of details that you want to consider, right? So this feedback is critical. All right. So let me show you quickly a few things here. Any question, guys? No question? Yeah.
Back on the diagram, what's the difference between patient-specific instrument and custom implant?
So where was it? Yeah. I did it last year, so I should think like you guys. Let's go. Surgical planning, patient-specific instruments, and custom implants. Okay. So what are the look? When the surgery happens, have you been guys in the operating room? Right? Some of you say yes. So when you are there, so you want to do something, and let's say TKR, like total knee replacement. So you have got some sort of implants ready, right? But in order to do them, so you need some other instruments to help you do the procedure, right? It's like a mechanic, right? So you want to change, let's say, a part of the car, but you need a lot of instrument around it. But those instruments also need to be patient-specific to some extent, right? This may refer to that, right? And sometimes this is actually an interesting question and point in terms of some of you guys, if you want to continue and become, or even like start a startup or things like that, there are some areas in 3D printing that people focus on exactly that part, like custom-made implant type of things. Do we have anything that I can point? I can't point. Anyway, I just point like here. So there are people working in this area, right? But there are a number of people actually, and this is quite missing, like how to implement this implant. And there are instruments that need to be done, right? And surgeons have a lot of questions in that, because you may be an engineer or a company that just gives the surgeon this, like a spinal fusion or whatever, but then says, okay, how can I do that? How can I accurately go there? And so you need some other things. So there are companies like Stryker or other companies, they build, if they have even robotic ones, right? And they say, okay, we go there and accurately tell you what to do, and the surgeon exactly goes. So imagine that it would be like a brain surgery. So you really you need to know the location of, let's say, tumor. You need to know the location of that patient where they're sitting, and everything is like a dynamic, right? It's not like static. You get one CT and that's it. Everything might change, right? Even during the surgery, right? So there's a lot of things that you guys can help, and I've seen like companies that their product would be around that, not necessarily the product itself. Say, okay, surgeon, what do you need? I need this. So you guys might have been doing, or you're going to do that, like by design type of things. Have you heard of that? Like there's a course by design, So they're doing slightly different, but people, like students, go to the hospitals and figure out what the problems would be, and then do the project around that. So what I mean is, each one could be an area for even your future if you want to really work in this area. Does it make sense, guys? Yeah. All right, I think we need to quickly tell you a few things, because you can figure this out. There's heaps of things out there, And as I said, lots of things, printing, bioprinting, they change. They change pretty much every day. So you can see the general idea is you can quickly do the prototyping, they're quite fast compared to traditional one like milling and all sort of details that you probably have seen. So they are time consuming, and they're good for like research. You just have an idea. People nowadays do you guys have anything at home, like a 3D printer in home? You have it? You're thinking you have it or not? Let me go and check if I have it at home. You have 3D printing at home? Anyone? Someone just raise their hand? Yeah, cool. So what are you using it for? Prototyping. Excellent. What type of prototyping? Electrical? Oh, cool. Yeah. I have actually a friend now here. He has one, and he's doing a lot of, like, you probably have seen it. They're doing hands, you know, for amputees, you know, from here, and they develop a lot of soft robotic type of things, you know. They have like electronic parts, like microcontroller, and then you control the hand and arm and stuff. So they have it at home and they do it. So you guys can have it. I'm sure it will be like quite common in the next maybe 10 years or so, right? Like a proper, like a printer that we have these things, it could be like a 3D printer. Anyway, we talked about like subject-specific type of things you want to do. You know, you have like the cool thing about 3D printing is if you have a 3D model, you can actually print it, right? And 3D model these days, you can get it from pretty much anything, right? Even now, your guys are sitting here. If I just have my cell phone and go around and take photo, I can roughly get a 3D of this environment, and I can just simply scale it and print it. You probably have seen like just simple from around here. If I just take photos, enough photos, there are software that they can do the 3D. So you know the applications. You know, I don't want to just go through them. You can have a look later. And there are many technologies, like you can have ceramic one, you can have metal, sand, plastic, you know. Just have a look, you just Google them on YouTube, and there's a huge number of things and how they work and stuff. I'll show you one or two examples, and then you guys can go ahead and do your best. So like one of them is fused deposition modeling. Let me see if it works here. Hopefully it would. Well, it's just 2 minutes, so let's see if. Hey guys, oops, it's showing here, but yeah, I'm bringing it.
Deposition model, or FDM, is a layer additive manufacturing process that uses production-grade thermoplastic materials to produce both.
Okay, I think I should bring it into because I have like two monitors, and I think it goes to the other monitor that I don't have here. What happened to this computer? Okay. Hey. Can you see it?
Prototype and use parts. This technology is known to accurately fuse deposition model, or FDM, is a layer additive manufacturing process that uses production-grade thermoplastic materials to produce both prototype and end-use parts. This technology is known to accurately produce feature details and has an excellent strength-to-weight ratio. FDM is ideal for concept models, functional prototypes, manufacturing aids, and low-volume end-use parts. The FDM process begins by slicing 3D CAD data into layers. The data is then transferred to a machine, which constructs the part layer by layer on a build platform. Thin, thread-like spools of thermoplastic and support material are used to create each cross-section of the part. Similar to a hot melt glue gun, uncoiled material is slowly extruded through fuel-heated nozzles. The extrusion nozzles precisely lay down both support and thermoplastic material on the preceding layers.
So guys, that's the whole point. But pretty much all of these 3D printing technologies are based on that, like really going layer by layer, you know. So in order to do that, so your model needs to be, what do they call it? Can you just say anything? It needs to be sliced, right? So there are so many software packages that you can buy. You have a 3D model, so you will learn it probably in your tutorials or workshops that if you have a 3D model, it's not just a 3D. It's actually you can consider it as like each layer, and then overall it will make it 3D. But it's not like a proper volume that you can see. Does it make sense? It's a bit, there's a big differences between, not big, like a subtle difference between like a STL type of file or let's say solid work type of volume. You know what I mean? Because in there, like if you have, let's say, kind of sphere in SolidWorks, the sphere is a sphere. But if you have like a 3D printed version of it, so you can't do it like a sphere, proper sphere. So you need to have slide by slide, and that would be like some lines going around each circle. And if you increase the number of them, then you will be so close to the actual sphere. Does it make sense? So that's a difference, you know, in a way. So it will give you the resolution and stuff. And in each layer, depending on that, I'll show you another example. In each layer, how much you are using that layer to the next layer, the distance, will define how accurate and how basically smooth the final product would be.
The extrusion nozzle continues to move in a horizontal XY plane while the build platform moves down, building the part layer by layer.
Yeah, this is also another thing. Pretty much all of them, they have it. So you have a surface, and then you do that in whatever that layer that you want, and then this layer goes down, the next one comes up, right? But imagine you have a structure that has, let's say, something that's hanging. So there's nothing in here below, like, you know what I mean? Below the surface that you want this to be on it. What can we do then? Does it make sense? So you have a structure that has something hanging like that. What should we do? Cool. So you need to sort of support it, right? So what can we do then if we support it? So that would be part of it, right? So you're adding something in your geometry, in your CAD model, for instance, or STL model, or whatever you're doing with it. You're sort of putting some sort of support. But then the support will be with it when it finishes, right? So you need to remove it, right? Easy, right? Remove it later on. So you can actually put all sort of supports. I'll show you an example later.
The finished part is removed from the build platform and cleaned of its support material.
See?
Raw FDM parts have visible layer lines. However, service providers such as Solid Concepts offer multiple finishing options.
So this is also another beauty of what even you guys can do in terms of like some of your friends like last year they were good at this as well. They did some finishing, you know. But some people brought just like raw material to us, you know. So that's a visual like presentation. Try to be, you know, because you present it to everyone, and you may have done a lot, but you present it in a way that it seems that you haven't done much. So just try to do like sand and stuff like that.
Create smooth, even surface parts, including hand sanding, assembly, and cosmetic paint.
You see the differences? That was the first one, and then you did the finishing and stuff, right? Because whatever you get from workshop, it would be like the first one. They don't do that finishing for you guys, right?
FDM parts are constructed with production-grade thermoplastics, including ABS, polycarbonate, and ultimate. They are both functional and durable.
You see the difference?
FDM is utilized in a number of industries, including aerospace, automotive, industrial, commercial, and medical.
Cool. So you get an example of it. So there are several other methods that's working here. Yeah, this is another one. So I'll send you this link, so go ahead and watch this, because this is quite similar idea. So I may show you this one. This is also cool, but this is like a laser version of it. It's just slightly different, okay? Let me see if I can show you guys this one. Do you guys have any questions? Can you see that? Yep. There should be a... Let's watch this one together.
Direct metal laser sinter, also known as BMLS, is an additive manufacturing technology that creates metal parts directly from 3D CAD data without the need.
So you see this is the differences. This is metal actually. It's not like the ones maybe what was it? Other metal like plastic type of material. It's quite different, right? Laser and then each layer is being built up.
BMLS utilizes a variety of metal and alloy materials, such as stainless steel, cobalt chrome, and ink to create strong, durable parts and prototypes. BMLS is an excellent choice for functional metal prototypes, high temperature applications, and end-use parts.
So this is quite critical, Material selection is a big area again, people who might be interested. There is mainly those who study like chemical engineering or material science, they go there, but other engineers can go even in biomedical engineering. So whatever you want to do, there are a certain number of people there. They just focus on what material is needed for this product, and they just go and try to figure it out. So they would ask a lot of questions. The temperature is the issue. The pressure is the issue, I don't know, fatigue is the issue, For mechanical, chemical, electrical, all sort of things you need to consider. So imagine you want to develop, let's say, I don't know, something for Boeing, right? For airplane, for car, for whatever, yeah. So you have to consider the environment for that, and then you can properly define. And after that, say, okay, this is the material I want, and then you'll say, okay, what type of methodology you want to build, right? So that is where engineers. So for your guys, like the biomedical engineer, that would be the same thing. So what is the problem? Then what is basically the application and stuff? And then you'd be choose the material, and then how to model it. And then next stage is which methodology is best for this particular one. So that's why it's good to learn most of these things. Just have a look and find them in this type of thing.
The BMLS process is in the same fashion as other layer additive manufacturing technologies.
Yeah, that is something that we need to consider. Is the main procedure is the same, right? So pretty much all of them start from like a problem, and then basically like a CAD model or 3D model, like a steel model, then the slicing, and then they would call like a G-code type of thing, and then set it out too, right? The procedure is the same, but some of the methodology between will be different, right? So you can see that we are following pretty much the same procedure.
The program takes 3D CAD data, mathematically slices it into 2D cross sections.
That was what I was referring to, Each one is a mathematical like a procedure and the 2D version of that 3D, right?
Each of these sections will act as a blueprint, telling the BMLS machine exactly where to sinter the metal material. The data is then transferred to the BMLS equipment. A recoater assembly pushes powdered metal material from the powder supply to create a uniform layer over the base plate.
So you can see the powder is there, and the laser is gonna, cut that, and then basically next layer, okay?
A laser then draws a 2D cross-section of the surface of the build material, heating and fusing the material. Once a single layer is complete, the base plate is lowered just enough to make room for the next layer. More material is raised from the cartridge and recoated evenly among the previously sintered layer. The BMLS machine continues to sinter layer upon layer, building from the bottom up. As the part is built, support structures are added to give supplemental strength, fine features, and overhanging surfaces. The completed part is then removed from the base plate, treated with an H-hardening heat process to further harden the part. Any support structures are also removed.
Do you see the support here? So this is quite, because it's metal, so you need really a proper support for that. So you see, it's just the finishing part might take more time.
With numerous surface treatment and hand polishing options available through service providers such as Solid Concepts, DMLS parts can be used in highly cosmetic applications. Typical uses for DMLS include tools and manufacturing units, small integrated structures, dental components, surgical implants, and aerospace parts.
Okay. Alright. I think I showed you enough, like you guys can go ahead and figure out, because you have some of these methodologies here. Go on and enjoy watching the rest if you are interested, to get an understanding of what is out there, right? So I'll quickly go, so I think I probably need to stop that, right? And it just keeps going. This is YouTube, right? Okay, so let me see if we have time, right? Yeah, so you can tell now that some of the benefits here. Basically less material waste, because if it's a traditional one or other methodology, so you need a lot of material. So you can actually go for that particular, like subject is specific, or let's say specific application that you want, you can actually build it for that, print for demand and a short time, and so you can actually add many things to this yourself as you learn more. So this is actually what I was telling you about STL file and the actual. So you can see that the sphere type of things, or the circular one, the CAD model is basically, you can say that's proper circle, but this is the other version of it, so that the computer understands, right? Or the printer understands, let's say. This computer would show you where you want to show. All right? So this is like a type of code that you don't need to know this. So from your CAD model and the slicing, and then there will be code to the printer, and the printer understands all these things, goes each layer and tries to build it from there. Okay? And we just touched a little bit about like different types of material. There's quite many of them, like from the thermoplastic one, from the metal one that you notice, ceramic one, you see, and even the colored version or not colored. Okay, so depending on what you want, you can simply choose. So these are just some of the thermoplastic versions in the filament form. So you can see that the filaments will be attached, and then that will go and it will be melted somehow, and each layer is going to be built up on each other, right? Or like this filament layer, an example, or this example is what we have been discussing in terms of the accuracy, all right, or resolution type of. So if the layer height would be quite big, so you see how you will end up having, or if the layer height is smaller and then smaller, right? And the last one has been done finishing as well, right? Because it says the wafer back. So you need to do some sort of finishing at the end, even if it is like a small layer distance or height. Can you see that? All right. So again, some other applications you can figure out, like wall thickness, or multicolor one, right? Or other material we can build. Some of them are actually interesting because you can print a lot of things, so you can actually combine them and print them some sort of, it would be sort of soft material. It will look hard, but at the end it will look, just Google like soft robotics type of things, you will find many or hard versions of it, okay? Or the cute version, so there's another technology basically. Just get the names, and then I'm sure if you want to know more about this, you can figure them out. Okay? They can be used in like dental or other type of biomaterial, right? Or musculoskeletal system, for instance, you want to work on it. For the powder versions, we talked about it, and I showed you a few things like laser version of it. You can see, and examples, some of them. There are also some other examples in terms of like cosmetic versions, There was someone actually gave a talk last year. I think she came from the States, and she was talking about like some sort of toys, but for like kids who were like amputees, you know, but they didn't have like much, what's it called, access to, like they would be in the poor countries or in the third world countries, you know, and they had like a community. I forgot the name, but I'm sure you can figure it out. Right? And they had like people who would be interested, like in, let's say, Australia, the US, or wherever, you know, and then they will be connected to these people, and they will build and print whatever they wanted, and then send it to them, like send them to like Africa or whatever. And there were like toys and different types of, you know, hands and arms, and that was really a cool project. And she had like so many people, you know, a big community now. I forgot its name, but it's a really cool project. Yeah, it's not just a matter of like biomaterial. So you see that 3D printing is everywhere, right? From art, from, let's say, even music. I was actually in a conference 3 weeks ago. It was about like a performance, like musical performance. But there were people actually interested in terms of, imagine someone is is playing the guitar, but they needed to, you know, they have a lot of musculoskeletal issues, right? Is anyone playing any instruments? Yeah? Anyone? No? Okay. But you probably have heard that these guys might have, you know, because they're doing it a lot, like maybe 6-7 hours a day, and then they have different types of problems in terms of musculoskeletal problems. And there was a guy actually building like a support type of things, and using a 3D printing. And that's kind of biomaterial, you know, like kind of. But you can see that, and there was another guy actually who was not only doing this, was adding, was it some sort of like electronic devices into that, like you are playing the guitar, and then adding extra capability to that, you know. I don't know if it makes sense. So there's like, because in let's say if you're playing the guitar, you can have like certain frequencies. So he could actually manipulate it, so you can go to other frequencies with just this one, you know, and using the things that you're using some of your fingers, but you could add other things that you use them when you're not using those. Does it make sense? So using like your foot or something. So adding from, let's say, 3D printed version of it and some electronic devices and putting them together. They call it augmented, you know, like musical instruments. But anyway, so you see the applications. It's not just, don't think about like, oh, this is maybe you might be interested in that, and then that would be your career. But anyway, so we'll have a look. Pretty much we discussed this, like filaments and powders and resins. Basically, we discussed them. You have a look. It's not easy to read them as well. So just have a look after the class. But here is, we also talked about this one as we were actually discussing. So you know that any kind of 3D model needs 3D printing needs a model, right? So you need to have some sort of solid model so that you can actually send it to the printer. Well, how can we do that? Can you think of different types? We kind of touch base. There are 3 bits, right? Those. What are they? Can you tell? You're basically doing one of them in your like classes, right? You can do like CAD or CAD or computer-aided design, either your own cell phone. You know that AutoCAD has got one. Have you heard of that? Autodesk and AutoCAD. I think that they have an application, an app that you can download, and it might be free for you guys as a student. And when you have that, you can actually go around something like an object, and then it will give you the 3D version. And there are some of these applications that you can actually download. It's not that accurate, but it's good enough for some sort of rough idea of what you want. Another version, another way of doing it is, so you have an object, but you don't have a model, right? How do you want to get it? Like 3D scanner. There are scanners. There's one in, where is it? 1 or 2 in the workshop. So we actually developed a few things. I've heard that's not easy, but you usually what you do, you have a handle like, or some of them are fixed, and you put the object. Either an object will rotate, or you actually rotate around. There are other things actually. Have you heard of this? Is actually a cool one. I was about to develop this basically with some of my. If you're interested, you can come to me, and if you're interested in programming and stuff, this is a really good project. What was this? Tyco 3D scanner. Right. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? No? This is also a very good, interesting area.
A new way to measure yourself.
Let's have a look.
Stike is a body scanner that's revolutionizing the way we track fitness. Simply stand on a rotating platform while a harmless infrared sensor captures your body's shape and composition.
And that's it. Did you get it? So it's basically a 3D map camera, like a Kinect type of things, right? What you might have at home. And there's a lot out there. And then you just there, go around it, and that would be a 3D. And because you have that 3D, you can print it, right? Make sense? Okay, 3D scanners. Or someone has done it for you. Like there's a lot out there, right? So all I would do if I wanted to just like come up with something or roughly just an idea and then print it or something. Usually do this first, which means there's a lot of websites out there. Have you heard of like Think Cave, or like we have some of them here. Thinkiverse, DiffCAD, Shapeways, Format. Have you heard of these websites? Just have a look. They are really amazing things. So people like yourself, or it's a huge community, they either have done it, they scanned it, developed it, or whatever, and they're just like sharing them. Just careful in terms of like license type of things, don't just like go and start a company with it, and then you end up, oh, really, that wasn't mine. So it's not like for that, but it's just like for yourself, just bringing some idea into the 3D world. So there's a huge number of them. Let's check these things. Let's see if this is. I'll show you this one quickly. Yeah, look. I really like this one, because imagine. Just tell me something, like what object would you like to search for? Can you just think of something? Just say something? Any. Come on guys, you're like 30 people, can you come up with one word? Say it again? Burn? Bone. Okay. Bone. That wasn't very hard, right? So you see different types of. So let's be a bit specific, or related to our class. Let's say spine. You can find a lot of them, right? Well, let's come up with, let's say, I don't know, knee. So you see people have done it, right? And the cool thing about this is just download it and you can actually have it and go around. So one way is what you guys are doing, like Mimix and Image or whatever, you just develop it and develop your own idea, add your implant and send it to the printer. Another one, if you want to quickly understand what's going on, I would do this as well. Like download one of them, if they're like a steel file, they usually have pretty much everything. Like imagine this race. So let's go in. So you see that this guy has shared, you see, and then you can see it's like a community. And what do they have? Think the files. So go ahead. The files here. You see? Oh, everything is here, right? What do you want? But please don't just copy and paste, right? So we're showing you things just for like learning stuff, and then do not just, because we can check easily as well that you guys have copied from here. So use them for your learning, but do the procedure as your supervisor or Peter asked you, for instance. Okay? Alright guys, I think we are almost there. Okay? Yeah, this is just we just mentioned. Because it really happens. If you really, some of them actually would mention that I'll just use it for research, just use it for this, for that, you know? Don't just use it for your anything, you know, like that's not written there, right? Alright. And again, consider, and as I told you, from now on, really consider the time that you have, because you just have like a few months, and then if you really need to develop something, don't go for something so complex, and then, you know, I remember some people actually took it really in a very complex way, you know, and then they had to simplify it at the end. So simplify it now, and then eventually build up on it, right? And as I told you, just send something for the printer to understand all this procedure and stuff. I can quickly show you that one as well. So the meshing, we talked about this one, resolution, you know, the printing orientation, again, you may not need to be worried about this one, but in the past, students had to go and print themselves, but they have to, you know, that how you do it is basically, is important, because sometimes you can actually avoid that kind of support just by rotating, printing it in another angle, right? Or the different types of raft or support you can actually add. Again, don't worry much about this one, but you might submit something to the workshop, and they will come back to you and say, oh, we can't do that, change this one. So you need to change it and then submit it again, right? So have a look. Or can the infill, these are the things that you should consider. If you have something that will collapse from part of it, so you need to put some sort of like support within it, right? So you can have a hollow, that's fine, but you need to support from within. So make sure you understand how the procedure works. You notice some of them, right? And then based on that, build or make your prototype, right? Does it make sense, guys? So I want you to just be familiarize yourself with the problems that you might see. It's not just like I print it and send it up, they take care of it. No, they don't take care of all these things. They may just rotate it for you, they may just like give you some ideas how to improve it, but it's actually you would need to sort of understand the details. So you see here, for instance, like a support here, like this type of support we need for different layers, and then they might give you even with the support, and then you need to cut it out or remove. I'm doing the finishing part, okay? Yeah, this is also another example, removing the support, as I said, and there would be a lot. You may not see it because they would print it for you. If it's not working, they would tell you, right? But if you don't care about all these details, these things might happen. Like the temperature, you're not working well, the temperature is not well, or the way that the support is not there, you know, there would be quite a lot of difference. I'll show you another thing that tells you some of these problems. The model failures, have a look. Okay. So engineering workshop, maybe quickly I'll tell you, we have like 5 minutes time, right? Do you have any questions? No? Are you guys following me? Is it something that, okay? All right. Because there's a lot of things, you know, in 3D printing. You can actually put your life in, like, it could be your career. So you're just like touching some of the, you know, like the surface. You can see that, right? You can actually go to the metal. We have one metal printer here, just next to our Karen lab. And I'll show you a little bit about Karen as well. So you can go and have a look at what they're doing. You probably can't see inside, but at least get an idea, right? So I think this is what the workshop has. So don't worry about this. You can actually have a look at the details. Maybe I'll show you this before we go quickly. So I think the workshop. So you just go ahead and find the workshop here, right? Yellow School of Engineering, 3D printing. Just like Google it, you can find it. And go ahead and find, you know, in order to submit a job, you need to sign up. Make sure to do that, right? I would do it now, not today, right? So you don't need to necessarily submit a job, but if you like in the next few months, have an idea, just submit a job to get an idea, right? Because I think it's free for your class. It's all free, so you can do it a few times, right? And then they tell you the details and how to pick up and stuff, and where it is, right? And go and read these ones. These are actually telling you like how to submit, you know, And again, we showed everyone this, and again, people come and say, ask questions. They actually go through every single thing, right? So you don't go through it now, because you can just simply read. They have done a really good job, right? As simple as that. Just go one by one. Because if I tell you, you guys have to go and sit down and do it one by one, right? Follow the procedure. So it's not worth it to just I'll show you where to go and find things. Tips and tricks. Again, have a look and see, the things that some of them we showed you here, but like, what the STL means, and, what the mesh means, and the different type of errors you would face, and overhanging and this, what I mean? So have a look, or what happens here when we have a failover, basically hangs, or let's say no support, So I would suggest to go through all these possibilities, and here, like this type of parts, you expect to be like right angle, but you see what happens. But you probably won't see these type of problems because they're going to do it. But anyway, it's good to know. And make sure you know this as well, right? The checklist before you submit anything. Does it make sense? All right. So I think this is pretty much what I wanted to show you guys. Before we go, I quickly show you a few things, and then we can get out of here. Yeah, I'm running this Karen lab as well. So some of you guys either working with us or have done the testing with us. If you are interested, you can just send me an email, and we are doing some sort of what's it called? Some testing. That's it's quite interesting. People walk and being perturbed, and doing dual tasking, And here is the actual, the testing. So you'll be familiarized with what biomechanics, other aspects of biomechanics would look like. And the cool thing about this is about human in the loop. So which means you are part of, it's coming. So you are part of the system. So usually the system, you're not part of it. So even 3D printing would help in this area. Peter and some of his colleagues, they have a training center that they're trying to develop different types of implants, and then maybe they want to test it in here and so on. So let me see if I have a simple, this is an example of, you see, someone is enjoying being perturbed, or someone can you see that? This kind of the type of things that we do these days. So you're finding a target. So you want to understand the effect of cognition as well as the physical activity at the same time, right? So it's kind of gaming. So you guys are doing the gaming a lot, so it's going to be fun. You see that? Yep. So that is it. What else? Any question, guys? So thank you very much. Have a good day. Hey.
Sorry, you have the final
What was it?
in the presentation, if we have screws in our inputs, will we be supplied with the screws, or do we source them from?
The screws, what sense you mean that?
Say if our implant was a fracture visualization plane.
Yeah. And you want to have the screws.
Yeah, do we?
You can buy it or you can print them. Print them like a simple version of it. You don't have to go through all the details, but there are ways you can print them. No worries. Hey, how are you doing, Michelle? Feeling good? All good? Well done. Okay.
Is there any problems that you see in the studio? applies to your
Oh yeah, there are a few things that I have to go like they have to apply, and then I look at their resume and in all the details, and Peter and I will decide basically. Yeah,
So it depends on who all have applied.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
So what do you exactly look for in the
So I would look at their resume and like the GPA, like these type of things, and even the skills that they're looking for. You know, so you notice basically there's a variety of skills. So depending on the project, so I'm looking for that. The experiment is one. It might be sort of like computer programming stuff. Could be like analyzing. Could be, you know what I mean?